Hi, I'm Brian Snyder. Thanks for joining us today to learn about creating active reports using RAVE, Crosstabs, and charts. When building an active report, you should really use the RAVE-only charts to enhance the report creation with Crosstabs or lists because of the filter option. And in order of doing so, you'll be able to do single and multi-select prompts easily. Here we have a report with two RAVE visualizations and a crosstab in it. And our goal is to add two prompts where we're going to utilize the filter capability when connecting our prompts to our objects in the active report. Next, let's go to the toolbox and bring in a data drop-down list. From that same area, we'll navigate and bring in our organizational type from our cube, from our data source, and next need to connect that drop-down list to the RAVE visualization. Notice the name property that we populated for the data set was started with head count. Here's where we populate that name property. Matter of fact, we're going to name the prompt appropriately, so as we start to make our connections, we'll remember where we're setting from. We'll create a connection by choosing creating a connection, and here we're going to filter the drop-down list. Will filter the head count trend data. It's going to create a variable. We'll make it external for passing in parameters, and that's all that's required. We can see here as we hover over that this variable sets from here, and this chart is being filtered on it. Within the panels on the upper left, you can see by variable or by object which ones are setting variables and which ones are being selected or filtered. In this case, this drop-down list filters the trend data, and the trend data is being filtered by that prompt. We haven't done anything yet with the other RAVE visualization or crosstab, so they don't have any information below them. When we run the report, we see a prompt appears with each of our organizational types, and while we select one to the next, it contains some animation. Problem is, where's the all selection? How do we get back to all organizational types? So by selecting the prompt and going to the property no value list item, change that to show, we could then add an item to the top of that drop-down list that says all org types. And that will allow a user to navigate between individual organizational types and all org types. Here, when we run that report and when we select a particular org type, we can see one at a time and toggle back to the all condition. Another RAVE visualization and crosstab by choosing create a new connection, filter. In this case, choose the second RAVE visualization. Notice the copy data from source is selected because organization type is not visible in the visualization. Notice how it, in the extra categories area, organization type was added there because it was not visible in the initial view. Let's create another connection where we'll now filter the crosstab. And because the crosstab does not have organization type, we actually need to go out and add organization type to the crosstab for it to work. The crosstab does not have the option to copy but hide it. In order to filter crosstabs, you really need to make sure that the item you're filtering on is visible within the crosstab. So now I should really add that from the query to optimize it. So since it's already in the query, I go to my query tab and drop it in. And when we go back now to filter the crosstab by creating a new connection, the option to filter the crosstab will now contain organization type because it's visible in the crosstab. Running the report. in each one of the objects, the two RAVE charts and the crosstab work appropriately. When we toggle back to the all condition, all three of them update respectively. There's a shrinking and expanding of the report. Because this RAVE visualization is 500 by 350, I have it sitting inside of a table cell that's already 500 pixels wide. I'm going to make it so that that cell is also 350 pixels high, so that when we run the report, that box retains its size and we don't see so much of a flutter or resizing of the active report when it opens. Let's add another prompt that will provide some multi-select functionality by year. In other words, a user can select 1, 2, or 3 or no years in order to filter each of these visualizations. When using the RAVE visualizations in the crosstab, we just need to do the same as we did before by choosing the filter option for all three. And because we've done this before, we'll move through it a little bit quicker this time. When we run the report this time, you'll notice we have checkboxes that allow us to select none, 1, or more years in combination with our organization types. So by using RAVE visualizations, charts, and crosstabs, it becomes much easier to author an active report. I noticed that the prompts at the top of the page were a little close together. I'm going to go to the padding property and create a 5-pixel padding around the edges in order to give a little space. That concludes today's session on creating active reports using RAVE, crosstabs, and charts. Thanks for joining. I'm Brian Snyder.